Hey, what's up, guys? This is Looking Glass. Welcome to Live Airways. What it is, the concept of the show is that we're going to be looking at air traffic live. So what you see right now is what's going on right now in Toronto. And what we're going to do, we're going to comment and analyze that traffic from a pilot perspective. Right? So a little bit about me. My background is I'm an airline pilot with a major airline in Canada. I'm not going to name which. And I've been a pilot since 1998 when I got my glider's license, and I got my power license in 1999. And I got my commercial in 2003. And in total, I got about 7,800 flight hours. So, been doing this for a while now. So, a couple ground rules about this videos. So, I'd like everybody to be respectful in the comments. All right. Also, you may have noticed, but English is not my first language, so I'm going to ask you to be tolerant. And also, I'm not a controller, so please keep that in mind. You know, my perspective is really from a pilot's point of view, and not anything else, right? So please comment, and please like and subscribe if you like to, and we'll get this show on the road there. So what I'm using is Flight Radar 24. It's basically a website and also an application you can find. And what I'm using as well is Live ATC, as you can see here. And what we're listening to now is the arrival, control sector for Toronto, right? So we're gonna put up the volume here, right? So what you're hearing now is the terminal controller issuing instructions to various aircraft in the Toronto area, right? So what you can see here is the Toronto airport. We're gonna zoom in here, right? And there it is. Right, so CYYZ. So you can see the VOR, right? So the Toronto VOR, and that's the Pearson VOR there, right? So this is the airport itself. So the way the structure is built around Toronto, it's necessary to talk about it because it will give you a better idea, right? So this right now is what we use as pilots to navigate around an airport. It's called the Jepson plates, as we call them. So 10-9 would be just a general airport area with the runways, right? So you can see in Toronto we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 runways. So it's a big airport. Longest runway is runway 23. And it's probably the most used runway is 23. Also, we have 06 left, 24 right, and 06 right, 24 left. Those are the main runways we use in Toronto. All right. Typically, when you come from the northwest, you'll be using the north side, and when you come from the States, you'll be using the south side there. Right. When the winds shift, on rare occasions they do use the 33s, but that's more rare that we're going to use the 33s or the 15s, right? The winds have got to be pretty much from the northwest and gusting for us to use the 33s. They don't like to use those very much in Toronto. So predominantly they're usually in the east-west configuration. And right now I think they're using they're using 2-3 and 2-4 left and right in Toronto. So the way Flight Radar 24 works, you don't see all the approaches and all that. Like, you just see basically a radar picture. So I can tell right now that those planes are coming in for landing on the south side there. What I can do is show you the arrivals on the Jepson plates. That'll give you a better idea of how the airspace is structured. So typically when you come in from the east, you're gonna get the amoeba arrival, right, or the ragged, depending on what they want to do. They're similar, you can see the EME, but 3 is more, it goes, you know, from now north to south, and the ragged is a little bit more to the south there, but they end up the same place, right? So you can see the approaches, the westbound landings that we're doing. You know, when you're coming in from the east, you're gonna you know, fly those points, right? When you're coming in from the east, typically from Ottawa, you're gonna go to Keir, and you're gonna fly that. And this is all in the aircraft, in the flight deck. This is all in the FMS, which you're gonna use for navigation, right? And then you got your restrictions on the star. That's what we call a star here. So this is standard terminal arrival routing. So you can see there's a restriction here, Denka 220 knots, 7,000. So that's for the controller. They know you're going to be there at Denka 7,000 and 220 knots. It's for them to be able to sequence you in the traffic and you know, sequence you for landing, right? And then you're going to be assigned one runway, depending what they decide. So you're going to either land on runway 23. Typically, you'll do the ILS for 23. So this is it right now. So basically, what it is, it tells you what's the inbound course for the runway. It'll give you a guidance for the runway, right? And what you use for that is a localizer frequency, 1115 for the localizer for runway 23. And basically what it gives you is a lateral and vertical guidance. So the localizer gives you lateral guidance, and the glide slope will give you vertical guidance. And you go down to a decision altitude, which is for an ILS is typically 200 feet above the runway or above ground level, right? Gives you a 758 and the barometric altimeter, which you're going to set in the flight deck there. Okay, so that's basically it. Also, they're landing on 24 right and 24 left. You see the main difference, of course, is it's a different runway, but it's the localizer frequency that's going to change, right? So it's 1093. And also the DA, the decision altitude, is going to be a little bit higher because the runway is not the same elevation on the south side, right? So all sorts of little details like that. If you look at 24 left as well, it's a different localizer, different runway, different DA as well. You can see it's 747 here, okay? So that's how the airspace is structured right now in Toronto. If you're coming in from the west, for example, from Chicago, right? So you're going to be coming in on an Uber 2 arrival, right? For landing westbound. So typically you'll fly over Quarry, Nook. Also, you got to take care of your restrictions there, you know, and then either fly for runway 23 or the south side there. And same thing if you're coming in from the northwest. Let's say you're coming in from Calgary, Edmonton, you know, stuff like that. You're going to fly the Boxham arrival, right? Same thing. It's configured for westbound landing, and you got your restrictions there that you got to take care of. And one note I'm going to make is the arrivals in Toronto are horrible. Like they're designed very poorly. I don't know how it works on the controller side, but those restrictions there, you know, the way they've been designed, they're not meant for a jet aircraft to be flown very easily because the distance is too short between the restrictions, and you know, often you got to use speed brakes in order to meet those restrictions, speed brakes or flaps or whatever you're gonna need, and that's not very comfortable for the passengers. I mean, it's not a big deal, but you know, other airports, you know, the arrivals are much better, much better, especially in the States, right? So that's just a side note there, right? So that gives you an idea of what you know, the airspace around Toronto looks like. You know, that's what we use as pilots to navigate an arrival into an airport, right? So right now, what you see here is the arrivals, as they're landing at the airport. So you can see Rouge 1939 is a Boeing 767 from Glasgow, right? So I can click on that and it'll give me a picture of the aircraft, right? So we're gonna see it. All right, so nice 767, right? Coming in from Glasgow, and we can actually hear them if I turn up the volume there. Right. So eventually the controller is going to talk to them, and they're going to issue instructions. Well, actually right now they're probably with Tower, because they're inside of Rexdale, which is the final approach fix for runway 23. All right, let me pull 23 for you there. ILS 23. All right, so it used to be called Rexdale, but now it's called Omtuck because we're transitioning to, everything's going to be transitioned to RNAV systems, and the old stations they used to have, like this is an NDB, right? So a non-directional beacon. They're all, they're all phasing out those stations, because they're too old and they're too expensive to maintain, so they're just getting rid of them. Right? So we're gonna turn up the volume here, and we're gonna try to listen to what they say here, and I'm gonna tell you what's going on.
Delta 2569, speed 160 knots.
Delta 2569, flight 160.
All right, there it is, Delta 2569. Whoops. Delta, no, that's Sky Regional. Let's see here. 2569. Okay, Atlanta to Toronto. Okay, so it's MD-80, I believe.
1947, 3 miles final. 24 right route, 1947.
Alright, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, that's what it is. So they're phasing out those planes. I heard Delta's getting a C-Series to replace them. If there's any Delta pilots in the comments, you can leave a comment there. But I believe they're getting a C-Series, which is now the Airbus 220. But that's it. So that's it for Delta. I believe they're gonna fly. Yeah, they're coming. If they're coming in from the States.
7547, speed 160 or not.
Okay, so.
Speed 160, Maple 7547.
Okay, 7547 is Maple.
160 now, Jasper.
So it's Sky Regional. They're coming in from Atlanta as well.
Delta 2569, woke up.
Yeah. So Sky Regional's flying the ILS, I believe, for 24 right, but we're gonna hear something else soon. I'll keep you posted. As soon as she says something, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you what she issued for instructions. Let's see here, Jazz 3. What are they doing? Jazz 3, Oshawa to Toronto, and what kind of airplane is it? They don't say. Okay, interesting. All right. So it's kind of quiet at the moment.
7547, contact tower at Sanoa 11835.
Maximum contact tower 11835, Maple 7547.
Okay, so she just told Sky Regional or Maple 7547 to switch to tower. So once you're established on the approach, typically just before the final approach phase, right? On runway 24 right there, they'll tell you to talk to the control tower. So typically, if you look at the ILS-24 right, this is NOAA right there. This is the final approach fix. Typically, a few miles before, they're going to tell you to transfer to tower, and tower frequency is 11835 for Toronto. So what you're going to do in the cockpit is switch on your radio selector, you're going to switch to tower and introduce yourself to the tower, which typically they're going to clear you to land, or tell you to go around if for any reason there's an aircraft on the runway, a vehicle on the runway, or whatever. And it's happened to me many times. It's just pull up and go around, and then you come back for another approach there, right? So there it is. So Sky Regional, they're on the approach right now, and I guess we could listen to tower as well. I guess we could.
Envoy 3470, as you level at 8,000 feet, there is departure traffic 12 o'clock, 8 miles, opposite direction, number air restricted 1,000 below.
CYYZ. Tower. I'm just gonna try to find the frequency there. There it is. It's pretty quiet on the tower there. Alright. WestJet Encore. Let's see where they come from. Okay, so they're leaving for Montreal. So they just took off from Toronto and they're going to Montreal. And
Bravo, good morning, Air Shuttle 6156, descending 14.6
okay, Air Shuttle.
Bravo, runway 24 right, descend to 8,000. 24 right, down to 8,000. Air Shuttle 6156, Air Shuttle 6156, thank you, you can hold that speed until advised. Roger, 6156.
Okay, so he was just talking to United Express 6156. They're coming in from Houston, and he just gave them instructions, arrival information, right? He gave them the runway, and that's it. So 6156 right now, if one of two things, right? If they had the proper runway selected in the FMS and all that, basically they're good to go, right? They're good to go, and they don't need to make any changes. What's going to happen in Toronto and major airports?
Air Shuttle 6156, proceed direct to Mayrod. Direct to Mayrod, Air Shuttle 6156.
Okay, so he gave them direct Mayrod 6156. So let's take a look at the Nuber 2 there. And the Mayrod basically on the Nuber 2 is this point right there, okay? So he's about there, right? He's coming in. I don't know where he's coming from, but he's coming in. And he's probably past Rockto there, and he gave them direct Mayrod, which is the downwind point for the southern runways there, right? So he gave them direct to that point.
Bravo Jazz 284 out of 10-2, descending 9,000, information uniform. Jazz 284, low runway 24 right, descend to 8,000. 24 right, 8,000, Jazz 284.
Jazz 34. We're gonna try to find Jazz 34. No call sign. Yeah, sometimes Flight Radar 24 will. It's not the best. Like this one has no call sign and all that, but yeah. Maybe it might have been Jazz 3. I'm not sure to Toronto. I know they're probably on the approach. Those guys. Never mind. All right. We're just waiting for some radio chatter. Let's see this guy. Who's that guy? American.
3470, you can expect about a 10-mile final. You can start reducing your speed at your discretion.
Expect 10-mile final and reduce speed at our discretion, Envoy 3470.
Envoy 3470. Let's take a look. Where is it? There. Where is it? Envoy 3470. I don't see that guy. Envoy 3470. Oh, there he is. Envoy 3470. Okay, so he's in downwind. He's in downwind, so Envoy 3470 is coming in from Dallas, Fort Worth, and what the controller is basically telling him right now, he's guiding him for the final approach. So remember, they're landing on the 2-4s and 2-3 and 2-4 left and right now.
Envoy 3470, turn left heading 330.
Left heading 330 on Envoy 3470.
So he just told him to turn left. What the controller said is, this aircraft turn left, and you know, they're basically giving him a base leg right now.
Send 6,000. Send 6,000, Air Shuttle 6156.
Air Shuttle 6156. Where's that guy? Where's that guy?
Envoy 3470, descend to 3,000.
Send to 3,000, Envoy 3470.
Okay, so he just gave him the instructions to descend 3,000. Right now he's at 4,000, so he told him to descend at 3,000, and that's for the intercept. Right?
Hello, descend to 4,000 for 24 right, you can keep your speed up, altimeter 3002, information is uniform. We have uniform 3002, clear down to 4,000, we'll keep the speed up for 24 right, Air Canada 817.
Air Canada 817.
3470, turn left heading 270, intercept and cleared ILS approach, runway 24 right.
270 at intercept and cleared ILS 24 right on board 3470.
Okay, so what he just did with Envoy 3470, he gave him the final heading for intercept, right? For the runway. So 270, you're going to see him turn left again and intercept the localizer, as I showed you before. The localizer for runway 24 left, I believe it was. So right now, he's in the final left turn, and then he's going to make one more left turn to line up with the runway. Okay. So that's what he's going to fly, the ILS 24 left. So right now he's about here, and he's going to intercept the localizer, and then when he gets the glide slope, right, about here, he's going to descend on the glide slope for landing on the runway, right? So we're going to do a few more, and then I'll wrap it up for the intro video. It's basically an introduction. I just wanted to...
4,000 feet on the glide slope, clear for the ILS runway 24 right, and you're crossing all that departure traffic there off Buttonville. He's going to be stopping at 312 across 3 miles northbound. Okay, we checked at 4,000 feet, cleared the ILS 24 left there, 24 right there, Canada 817.
Okay, so the controller basically just issued an instruction for Air Canada 817 to intercept the localizer for runway 24 right. Alright, so if you look at it again, so they told him to intercept the localizer and clear them for the approach for 24 right. Basically that's what it is. So they're gonna, same thing, fly the approach on 24 right.
Georgia 7283, Robert, runway 24 right, information uniform, the altimeter 3002. 002, we have uniform 24 right, Georgia 7283.
So right now Envoy is on the approach. He's going to talk to the control tower. I'm not going to put it up, the control tower frequency, because it's just two frequencies at the same time. It's just annoying, right? So.
Air Canada 837 heavy, hello, descend 6,000 for 24 right, altimeter 3002, information is uniform.
Okay, so 837, they're...
3002 and down to 6,000 for Air Canada 837, thanks.
That's them.
Fly heading 320, and when you get to 6, speed 200 knots.
Okay, 320 heading, and when we get to 6, we'll come back to 200 knots for Air Canada 837.
Alright, so that's them, Air Canada 837. Let's take a look at what it is. They're coming from Madrid. It's a Boeing 787, till number 842, coming in from Madrid. And it's Dreamliner. And she basically told him to...
817, start going to 160 knots now, and contact tower at NOAA 11835. 1835 at NOAA, and slowing now to 160 knots, Air Canada 817.
So she just transferred 817 to the control tower, gave them a final speed, like a final approach speed until the final approach fix. Typically 170 to the final approach fix is what they give you. So 170 knots.
Air Canada 837 heading 270, intercept the localizer 24 right.
270 to intercept the localizer 24 right for Air Canada 837.
Okay, so they're going to turn left to intercept the localizer
24 right, Air Shell 6.
on 24 right. So you're going to see turning left, heading at of 270, and then they're going to intercept the localizer on 24 right. So they're going to intercept that. Later on, you're going to see she's going to give them the approach clearance for landing.
Okay, 3,000, 190, till further advised, cleared out west, 24 right, Air Shell 6156. Jazz 284, turn right heading 150. Right turn 150, Jazz 284. Georgian 7330, descend to 9,000.
9,000, Georgian 7330.
So we just talked to this guy, United Express 6156. I missed the call sign, but it's just basically clearing them.
Jazz 34, descend to 4,000. 4,000, Jazz 34.
Jazz 34, where's that guy?
And just confirm Air Canada 837 is not cleared for the approach test.
Not yet, Air Canada 837, descend to 5,000.
Down to 5,000, Air Canada 837, and we're established inbound on the low.
Thank you.
So they were not sure if they were cleared for the approach, and they asked the controller, and she said, no, you're not cleared yet, descend to 5,000. So right now they're at 6,000. She told them descend to 5,000, stay on the localizer, and I'll give you the approach clearance shortly. So that's what happened right there.
American 2676, descend to 6,000.
Descend 6,000, American 2676.
Jazz 284, turn right heading 210, intercept, descend to 3,000, and clear the ILS approach, runway 24 right.
210, intercept, descend 3,000, clear the island 24, Jazz 284.
Okay, so 284, he was just talking to them, Jazz 284, he just gave them the approach clearance.
Speed 160 knots, maintain that to no.
160 knots, NOAA, Jazz 284.
160 to NOAA. Remember, NOAA is on the approach 24 right there.
American 2676, descend to 4,000.
That's where NOAA is. That's the final approach fix for 24 right. NOAA.
190, American 2676.
Air Shuttle 6156, cross NOAA at speed 160 knots, contact tower there 11835. Okay, cross NOAA at 160 knots at 1835 over tower 6156. Georgian 7330, descend to 8,000.
So we just, same thing here. Just transferred them to tower. Air Shuttle 6156.
160 knots, Air Canada 837. American 2676, contact arrival on 12447.
2447, American 2676, today.
Georgian 7283, descend to 6,000.
6,000, Georgian 73. 2676, 6500, descending 4,190 feet, 111.
American 2676, hello, descend in about 6 miles to follow a 787.
She's talking to him right now. American 2676. So basically they've just been transferred off of the Ling 8 arrival, right? If you look at the Ling arrival, let me find it for you. So they're coming in from the States, right? And right now they're in the left downwind. They're about here.
44776 arrival, runway 248, uniform current, altimeter 3001.
3001. And you said that runway 24 right, correct?
Runway 248 is firm rotor 776.
Alright, he's talking to that guy. That's a private aircraft. It's a Cessna 441 Conquest
Georgian 7330,
from Columbia to Toronto.
Georgian 7283, descend to 4,000.
I don't think we're going to see a picture of that one. No.
November 776, are you Director Verco at this time?
Ooh.
776 negative, we're on the arrival still.
Okay, 776, just confirm you are set up for runway 24 right.
Ooh.
24 right.
Okay. He's going the wrong way. Uh-oh. Well, basically, he just asked him,
Georgian 7330,
are you going the right way? And the guy didn't answer yet.
November 776, just fly heading of 060 for now. It'll be vectors, runway 24 right.
060 for 24 right, vector 776.
Okay, so basically he was following his GPS. He was going the wrong direction, and then he just gave him a heading to follow, and he said like, never mind, we'll take you there. So, that's not looking good for this guy. I kind of want to know what's going to happen with this guy.
090, descend 8,000.
090, down to 8.
Yeah, so that's this guy still. You gave him a heading of 090 and descend at 6,000. Alright, who's this guy? Georgian 7330. That's an Air Canada Express CRJ. Yeah. And they're coming in from Nashville. Cool. They're flying the Nuber 2 for runway 23. I can tell you that right now. And we can take a look at it again. They're north of the airport, right?
For the ILS runway 24 right approach.
Heading 270, clear ILS 24 right approach, American 2676.
Junction 7330 to right, heading 120. Heading 120, George 7330.
Alright, so she's talking to those two guys right now. She just gave Georgian the base leg, so you're going to see them turning right to intercept the localizer for 23. And she just talked to 2676, American 2676, gave them the approach clearance for 24 right. And guys, you know, this is going fast right now.
7330 heading 150, descend to 3000.
So you're
150, 3000 feature 7330.
So you're going to see them turning right and descend at 3000. Right now they're at 4000.
160 knots, American 2670.
So she just slowed them down to 160 knots. She's telling them to turn left and intercept the localizer, probably for 24 left. Georgian 7283, yeah, it's a Beach 1900. You're coming in from Rochester. That's probably the smallest plane we see in Toronto these days. It's a propeller plane. For the airline operations, I mean. That's the one.
American 2676, just 6 miles behind the heavy, contact tower at the NOAA 118.
Wonder what happened to that private guy there. I don't see him anymore.
Right. Junction 7283, turn left taking 33 is about, descend to 3000.
Anyway guys, that's it for the introduction. I hope you liked it. And my next videos, we're going to see other airports. I intend to do Chicago for the next one. If you guys have any suggestions, any airports you want to see, any questions, don't hesitate. Please put that in the comments. And yeah, thanks for watching. See ya.